What's love got to do with it? Can you survive on love? We're going to find out. Joining me this afternoon is licensed family therapist Dr. Darren Moore, and we have Amber Johnston with us. She wants a love that's going to last and believes professional counseling can help. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
That is the $64 million question. What's love got to do with it? Because you can love him, he can love you, and it might not work.
Right.
Wow. Well, tell me your story, Amber. I read a little bit about it. You have 3 children together.
Yes.
And you're in love.
Yes. We've been together for 9 years. It's been an on again, off again relationship. I don't think that neither one of us doesn't love each other, but there's been a lot of struggling with communication and things along those lines. So I heard about Dr. Darren Moore, and I wanted to get a little bit of information from him to see if he could help me in my relationship.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, let's start with the issues, Dr. Moore. I know that there were questions that you felt that should be addressed in relationships. In dealing with her, what is the problem and how do you think you can help them?
Well, one of the things that I think is important is to kind of think about and examine the communication patterns. So like what exactly is happening in your communication style. So like exactly what's happening. Are you initiating a conversation and he's saying, I don't want to engage with you? Is it that you are talking with him at a time that he feels like it's not convenient? Is he completely shutting you off? Or is he responding in a way that's shows that he's angry or upset? Is it what you're saying? Is it how you're saying?
So have you reached any conclusions yet? Is it what you're saying?
Well, like the situation is, he had left about a year ago. I'm from Minnesota originally, and you know, he wanted to come back and reconcile things, so me and the kids moved down to Georgia. And since being back down here, I wanted to really focus on our communication skills and, you know, make sure that that was being the first thing to really focus on. And
what did you learn, Amber, about yourself and how to talk to the man you love?
Well, being away from him for a certain period of time, I realized things that I didn't want to deal with. So I didn't want to deal with the factor of him, you know, blowing me off or him getting angry. And a lot of times, like Darren said, it would be scenarios where I would say, because sometimes it would be heated conversations from previous experiences that hadn't been dealt with at the time. So I brought up an idea to just let's talk away from the children and let's have like a date night and go through what our issues are. And for a period of time that did work, but then it just seemed like he was, you know, didn't want to deal with it. It's just stuff that he didn't want to deal with at the time.
Wow. So when you get to that point, Dr. Moore, she loves this man. She wants to stay with this man, but he's not willing to fight as hard, it appears. Then what can you do?
Well, one of the things that, you know, I have to be very honest, that can be very devastating for someone. When someone thinks about, you know, and we haven't even talked about like the historical aspect of that, but just the very nature of wanting to make something work or wanting to try so hard and then you feeling like your partner may not be on the same page with you, that's just difficult to deal with. And the question becomes, can we deal with that? Can we cope with that? Is there a way for one person to solve a problem within a relationship where there's 2 people?
Can you?
And I think that that's very difficult. I don't really think that that's possible. I think when I think about how to work with couples, I need both couples to be engaged. I need both couples to come to the table.
Do you think that sometimes we think, well, I saw mom put up with dad, or saw my auntie put up with someone, I can make it through this year or 2 until he comes back around? Do you think we have hope that he's going to change?
And that's the struggle I'm going through, is I'm seeing my kids grow up so fast, and I don't want to waste any more time if this isn't something that is going to work out. You know, it's 9 years into this relationship, and so I need to figure out, you know, like I'm on a time barrier thing with him, and he's just, you know, not processing that factor.
Wow. So you, Amber, have thought about the possibility of not being with him. How do you prepare someone for that, Dr. Moore?
Well, that's something that, you know, is definitely a reality for a lot of people. It's, you know, we all get into these relationships with the hopes and the desires to kind of have things work out like a fairy tale. But in the real world, people do have conflict, and sometimes people can't get through or work through those conflict issues. And so part of what I do is I work with couples to help them break up or to dissolve their relationship. For someone
in
who
a way
has,
where they will still be together.
absolutely, because
Yes,
they will
'cause
always.
he's a good father, and I want him
That
to
was
be
the
around
question.
for that.
Is he engaged in the children's lives?
Yes.
If you and he are not together, will he be a father?
Yes, like even when he did come, well, even that, there was kind of more initiative from me as far as getting them down here to visit him, and there was some conflict with his family and so on and so forth, but he'll always be a part of their lives, you know what I mean? And he said that, like, no matter if we're not together or not, he'll still be a part of their lives. It'll just be more challenging being I'm from Minnesota and he's living in Georgia now, but I think it'll work out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Darren, before we go, what would you say? She seems so sincere. She's very calm about it. Seems to have come to some resolution. It's either going to work or not going to work. What would you say to people who are watching?
One of the things that I would say to people who are watching is to really take a step back. I think we get caught up in what's going on right now around us, but kind of take a step back and evaluate kind of our own process. Because specifically for Amber, you mentioned this idea that it could connect to her childhood. Did she witness this when she was a child? Is this something that she thought was appropriate at one point in
She
time?
saw someone else
And
endure
I
it.
don't want my kids to.
Yeah,
And how do we
through
break
that.
that cycle?
Wow. Well, it's awesome that Amber had the love and the desire to seek help, and even more awesome that there's a Dr. Darren Moore out there for help. And I'm going to put a link to Dr. Moore on our D. Armstrong Show Facebook page. As always, if it's love and it's love worth fighting for, you might need some help. We'll be right back after this.
I read it someplace. I've got cause.